do a super moon reading for all signs. Tonight, right now, the moon is in Capricorn at 95.7% illumination. On August 1st, we're going to have the super moon in Aquarius, right? This is going to be pretty challenging, right? As an Aquarius, I know Aquarian energy is challenging, right? This is really making you be decisive, right? Really making you kind of like start saying no to things that are out of alignment with your path, right? Like being how powerful this lunar energy is. Like it'll be like what 4 to 6 days that it'll be at like crazy illumination. It's very close, right? Hella close. And so yeah, there's going to be kind of rifts, divides, a separation, if you will, in your friend groups, jobs, relationships, family ships, whatever ships. It's pretty prominent energy. You can also have the energy of bringing you closer to other people, right? Bringing you closer to people that you are falling in alignment with, right? People that are kind of more vibrational matches, right? So, yes, let's get started. Now I've ranted about the moon. I mean, I looked at it just last night and I was like, holy shit. It already looks so full. Like it's a powerful one. I feel that energy. Feel it. Shadow self. Denial, projection, shame, blame. So, I actually like this card because right now this is kind of the ideal time to do your shadow work, right? Got a super moon in Aquarius. Aquarius energy is all about confrontation, right? Confronting truths. Aquarians are very analytical, very intellectual. They're walking lie detector tests. You can't lie to an Aquarius. They'll let you get away with it maybe the first couple bits, and then they're like, this is too habitual. Goodbye. Queen of Swords, King of Swords. And I feel like you're confronting and having self-awareness within yourself. Kind of looking at your sense of accountability, right? Your sense of ways that you participated in life that kind of helped lead to certain events and things and stuff. So, and this is my favorite part of the journey, because I'm an alchemist, right? My favorite part is watching the way that we have to break ourselves up in order to reform ourselves, right? We have to confront those aspects of ourselves, confront our shadow, be aware of it, rather than trying to dismiss it or ignore it or act like we don't have one, integrating your shadow. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was the whole plot of Peter Pan, right? Dude's running into a room, meets his destiny while he's trying to sew his shadow back on, because we're not meant to not have one, right? It's a huge aspect of what we are. Vital. We're just supposed to not let it run rampant, keep it in check. Don't let it rule us, right? It protects us. You just don't also want to take away your personal power, right? And there's a lot of personal power in that. And if you diminish your ego or your shadow, or you act like it does nothing good for you, you act like it's just the worst thing ever, well, then it will show you, right? Because it will rule you at that point. People who think that they've killed their ego, that's the funniest shit I ever heard. You can't kill your ego without killing yourself, right? The ego is a beautiful thing when it's understood, when it's respected, when it's seen, and when it's heard in the same way that your light side is, you know? You can't have light without dark. You're the aspect of both the divine and the animal, right? This is also a time of, I feel like, a separation from, like, vices and codependency. I don't even need the cards. One of these days, I'm just gonna start spitting and not even use my cards. I'm like, see guys, I don't need them. Five of Swords. Disarming. Right? This is, he's taking all these swords while the enemy is like distracted in the background. The enemy, soldiers or whatever. He's just taking the swords and running off with them. So that he can attack, but they'll have nothing to attack back with, right? You could be in the energy of like trying to take people's weapons away. And that can be emotional weapons, that could be addiction, you know, trying to take away the thing that they can use against you in some way, or that they have used against you in some way. Nine of Swords in reverse. This is getting out of your head, clearing your conscience. This is honestly the energy of like letting go and allowing things to kind of unfold. This Five of Swords could also be like a spiritual disarming, right? If you've been doing a lot of praying, meditating, this could be like, because the thing that's coming to mind is a scripture that says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna pull it up and because I wanna read the entirety of it. Alright, I found it. So it's Isaiah 54:17. And it says, Doop-a-doop. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. So, and it's kind of that, like, what I'm gathering, especially because seeing that you get peace of mind after this, right? Seeing that, like, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. You know, it almost feels like a divine intervention. This also requires you to, like, assess yourself, right? And correct your wrongs. Live in more discipline, right? That's where the shadow work comes in, because sometimes living in discipline is hard. I would know. I was gifted with oppositional defiance, if y'all haven't found out yet. So, you know, that's fun. It's like, I want to do the right thing, but don't tell me to do the right thing. I'll do it on my own. Yeah, there could be temptation. There could be struggles in that. There could be, kind of missing, those aspects of your shadow life, or like who you were before all this transpired, but that you're also kind of like redeemed and saved by this in a lot of ways. Whether this was, and I'm not trying to sound super Christian, I might actually be talking to a Christian though, because it's feeling that like message come through. But what I'm really seeing here, above all, right, is that like God is within everything, right? God is an aspect of our ancestors, is an aspect of, whatever, however you want to see it. Okay, you can call it energy, you can call it God, you can call it spirit, you can call it whatever the fuck. But we're all kind of talking about the same thing, And we all understand it in our own way of understanding. We all speak to it in the way that we speak to it, right? Like, believe me, okay, when I say, like, God made this attitude, and God is not, like, what's the word? Give me the word. God is not, what is the word? God's gonna get it. That's ultimately what I'm trying to say. Especially for taking that word right out of my head. No, I'm kidding. But like, God knows your attitude, God knows your thoughts, your heart, all that. It is the energy between every electron in your body, right? Which makes up almost 100% of what you are, right? Because due to electron repulsion, you're like 99.9999999% conscious energy, barely a fraction of 1% matter, which tells me even on a scientific level, you are more God than man. And that's why we connect to it so much. That's why we understand it in our own way. That's why we speak to it in our own way. We feel it in our own way. We all have our own individual relationship with it. And that's why organized religion kind of doesn't work. Because we're all connecting to it very vastly different. Some people connect to it when they're cooking in the kitchen. Some people connect to it when they're playing music. Some people connect to it when they're drawing or writing or whatever, We all have our own methods of reaching it. So, pulling the skin off my lip. Don't judge my anxiety. Alright, what else? What else do you need to hear? Moon in reverse, Pisces energy. This could also be referencing the moon, considering the lunar cycle that we're entering, we're in. Because I'm really seeing that imagery of the moon. Usually when I read it in reverse, it either means the opposite, or it means it's already come to pass. But how I'm reading this is that there's something like a refusing to see something. Because the moon in the upright is all about something coming to light and like really shedding light on something that's in the darkness, right? Like, such as your shadow, right? But there's like denial here, right? And that's kind of what it says in the first card. Denial. First word under here. Projection and shame. There's shame and denial. That might need to, like, come up. That might need to be confronted, you know? Like, maybe there was, like, an aspect of where your ego kind of got the better of you and you realized that you were kind of wrong in a situation. But, like, you don't want to shed light on your wrongness, right? I've been there. I feel that. Or this could also be someone that you're dealing with. But feels like you. So what does Spirit want you to know? Do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. Do-do-do-do. Brother. This is actually really positive. But you did get another Pisces card right after the Moon card. Could be talking to a Pisces right now. We've got the High Priestess. High Priestess. I love that. Very intuitive. Very, like, connected to divine, right? Like, you could even say, look, she's got fucking these wings coming out of her head. That's her antenna, right? Like, she's got a whole ass antenna. Very guided, right? Follows her intuition. Listens. And this, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. Tarot doesn't read gender like this. This is saying that you're very intuitive and creative, and your advice here is follow that. Follow your intuition, what feels right, what does not feel right, right? And following that brings you to the Sun. The Sun card came out in reverse. However, this is the one card in the deck that doesn't have a reverse meaning. And it's also kind of funny because the opposite of the Moon is the Sun. Alright, Lightworker. Starseed. With the Sun, Leo energy showing up. This is about abundance. This is about climbing over that wall. It's also about divine help over that wall, right? You see the way the Sun is looking over, protecting. And it kind of brings me back to that Five of Swords, that disarming your enemies. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Also form no weapons against others, because those won't prosper. You never know when you're entertaining an angel, right? That's something that always stuck with me when I was a kid. My mom, because I grew up going to church, and I feel like very churchy energy with this. Like, you've gone to church. But, yeah, my mom always told me, watch how you treat people. You don't know who's an angel and who isn't. You know, it's in the Bible. Never know when you're entertaining an angel, right? And it's funny too because I have this friend, Elizabeth, and we were getting stoned in the woods one day, and we were talking about that, and she was telling me about how, like, angels always wear funny hats and stuff, and I was like, dude, that's sick. I like that. But, you know, it's like, they're incognito. They're going to show up as the weirdos, the oddballs. They're not going to show up in a suit and a tie looking all do-do-do. No, they're going to be in the fucking hood, hanging out with all the thieves and the beggars and the whores and the whatever the fuck, right? Because that is where you save people, right? That is where, and not even on a righteous, like, spiritual saving. like actually helping them in their life, right? Their morality, their soul is not your business. If you can help them in their day-to-day life, that is your business. And that's kind of what Jesus was saying, you know. And he's like, if they ain't gonna listen to your message, quit casting pearls to swine, man. Brush your feet off and go. And so I feel like if you only seek to help people that are already righteous, or they already go to church, or they already have good jobs, they already are there, well, then you're not really walking like Christ, are you? You know? And I mean that in a completely non-denominational kind of way, because even I like Jesus. Jesus is like one of my favorite dudes. The thing is, I don't like a lot of the messages in the Bible. I don't like St. Paul, actually. I think he was the one that betrayed Jesus over any of them. St. Peter actually betrayed Jesus by allowing St. Paul to take over the place of Judas after Judas killed himself, after getting Jesus killed. Paul wasn't even really fucking there for Jesus. He was off killing Christians before Jesus even died. Like, and now he gets to write most of the Bible. Fuck that. You know, the amount of the Bible that actually has Jesus in it is like that fucking big. You know what? Let me grab my Bible. I'll show you. Hold on. Alright. You ready for this? Gangstas? I'm gonna show you. You're gonna be like, what? Crazy. Because, like, he's really not that prominently in the Bible. The rest of the Bible is like the Torah. All this, that is a plagiarism of the Torah, right? The Old Testament, or the Old Word. The Torah. Jesus was killed by the very fucking people who put all this in here. Right here. This is the amount of Bible that actually has Jesus in it. Matthew through Acts. Everything else, bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. Fucking Revelations is just a plagiarism of Ezekiel, right? It's whack, right? So when I talk about Jesus and how I respect Jesus, I do respect Jesus. I just don't also believe that the people who wrote the Bible were really speaking on Jesus's ways, right? Jesus was like the Buddha. The Buddha also had 12 disciples. The Buddha also fasted. The Buddha also sat under a tree and pondered, right? He sacrificed having his own throne so that he could be of service to the people, right? Horus, also, same story as Jesus, like 500 years earlier, born of a virgin, helping Thoth the Atlantean. You know, like, when you really study and you really learn about that, you can see how, like, the messages of Jesus weren't bad. They were Zen, you know? They were Zen. It was like the Tao, or I won't say the Bhagavad Gita because he wasn't about war, but it was very Taoist, very Rumi-like, you know, the pocket Rumi or whatever. It's very philosophical and non-judgmental and open and unconditionally loving. And these are all, like, attributes you don't see in the rest of the Bible, right? You don't see that in the rest of the Bible. So, you know, take it as you will. I just thought I should narrow that down, because a lot of you are probably like, why is she so on Jesus? Because I'm talking to somebody who's on Jesus. Somebody who has a deep understanding of it, at least. Somebody who studied that. Lived it. Jesus was basically doing exactly the same kind of shit that the witches were doing that were burned by his followers. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild? Young masculine energy here. Prince of Wands. Prince of Pentacles. Wands is all about honest communication, right? You might like do some kind of work in regards to speaking. With the Prince of Pentacles, you could also be receiving like a message, an offer, or an opportunity, right? Or this could be you, somebody who has found opportunity and abundance through communication. Inspiration as well. Instilling inspiration. Communication can come in all kinds of ways. It could be through art, music, writing, blogging. But it's like you found a sense of purpose in this. And your intuition is constantly guiding you in that direction. With that High Priestess card, it's like you're constantly, anytime you try to do things that are out of alignment with this, I feel like that's where shit gets fucky. That's where shit starts falling apart. That's where you start like losing your abundance and you start losing your balance and all that. It's like a mouse in like in a lab. You know how they have like those little labyrinths and they're like they have to get to the cheese and whatever. That's kind of what this is like, and it's kind of like when you get distracted or deterred or you're not going in the right way, then they start throwing up blocks in the way to stop you from going the wrong way. There's sacrifices here. Ace of Wands and Ace of Cups in reverse tells me that there's sacrifices in connection to people you've communicated with or that you had like romantic affections for. It's like there's a bit of a sacrifice here, right? When you sell your soul to God, sacrifices must be made, right? And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Like, perhaps there was an opportunity for you to have like a passionate new beginning or enter into a new romantic cycle. But I see you kind of shutting that down. With the Tower in reverse, it's like you're rebuilding your life, restructuring it. You know, it's like you've already, things fell apart for you. You already lost things. And now you're like trying to get back, you know, to ground zero here. We have the Emperor for Pentacles, Aries energy with Earth energy. Four of Pentacles is all about being fiscally responsible, saving your money, perhaps saving up for a big investment. You know, this could also represent with the Ace of Wands and Ace of Cups in reverse. It's like maybe like you needed to not, you know, worry about certain kind of relationships or friendships or whatever while you're in the energy of building and saving up for yourself, right? Like right now, you're saving up for what is important. Or you're supposed to be. The Emperor, divine masculine energy. If I had to guess, you are a masculine sort. And by that, I mean in the tarot sense, not necessarily your gender. Could be male or female. I feel like you're very business oriented, though. Very goal oriented, very strategic. Like when you have a plan, you know how to implement it. You know how to do leadership well. You know how to assert yourself well. You know how to be what you're meant to be. You just get distracted along the way. And that's where the blockages come up. And the tower moments and all that. Because, like, you stray a bit. You stray. But who the fuck doesn't? Right? Who the fuck hasn't wandered a bit off the trail? Honestly, that's part of the most beautiful aspect of your journey, I think. That you can wander off your trail, and you know at the end of the day, like, your spot is reserved for you. You know where you belong in the universe. You know where your faith is. You know, whatever kind of spirituality you do. And if you're not a super spiritual person, I think you find it in ways that you don't even understand you do. It's those things that you love to do, even if it's like skateboarding, or if it's biking, or if it's, you know, like you find that sense of exhilaration that you get in certain activities, feeling of like just complete happiness, that love, right? That love for what you're doing, the excitement. That's the energy you're actually supposed to tap into all the time for everyone, right? That's like something you're supposed to emit in the world. So the things that really give you that sense of like love and connection and feeling right, that's the thing that you're meant to pursue. And also, one way that I've noticed when I'm on the right path, aside from the physical ailments I face, one thing I've kind of like learned is that whenever I like hang out with people I know I shouldn't, or go on a binge or drink a little bit too much, and you know, shenanigans, right? When I know that, I mean, because I can have the balance of both, right? I can, but as long as it's distracting me or deterring me from this, then I start losing out, right? I start losing opportunities. My bank account dwindles, you know, new debts show up out of nowhere, okay? Like, I get punished almost immediately if I fuck up, which is good and bad, you know? Good for me and bad for me because I hate it, but I get it, you know, and that's part of the journey, right? Shenanigans happen. Even Jesus had to flip a couple tables, you know. It's also like, what's meant for you stays for you. You also have to be for it. Alright. Last messages before we pull some Kali cards. And hair shedding like a wolf. Four of Cups in reverse. Acceptance. Acceptance. Perhaps you accepted this path. With that comes great responsibility. The Lord said, I should pull more. What are you accepting with this Four of Cups in reverse? Ten of Wands in reverse to release the emotional burdens that weigh you down. The things that you cling to. King of Cups in reverse. I feel like right now you're really being called to walk your journey and to not be focused on love and relationships. Not saying that it's not for you. Right now, on your journey, while you're doing the shadow work, while you're, sorting yourself out, while you're facing your temptations, and accepting your path. Because with this Four of Cups in reverse too, and the King of Cups in reverse, it's like you accepted that you wouldn't be like romantically inclined, is what I'm kind of gathering. The King of Cups is a king of love, right? You accept that you have to let go of certain kinds of love. And you have to let go of the emotional burdens. And the more you think about it, the more you keep that energetic link open. So you're called to not think about it, right? And when you catch yourself thinking about it, go do something, right? Go focus on something else. Go distract yourself at that point, with your purpose. Find something else to do in alignment with your purpose when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with that. Go do those things that wake your heart up and make you feel good. Go travel. Go to a new place you've never been before, right? Go eat at new food places, or go, throw yourself into your sense of purpose, wholeheartedly, whole acid. And if relationships are meant for you down the line, you'll have one. Right now, this is about your spiritual relationship. And this is about you tapping into your purpose and being so focused on that you don't allow yourself to be distracted by other things. The coulda, woulda, shouldas, or wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different, and I wish I would have asked that one girl out and I didn't do that. So what? You weren't supposed to. Or you would have done it. Guya Kali. It is time to realize the true nature of certain life circumstances. Be grateful for what you've learned, but see things for what they are rather than what you wish them to be. You shall be able to recognize, process, and prosper from the truth, and do not need to fear the revelations that are unfolding. Alright, Unamos. Chinnamasta. In order to grow, the soul may need to separate itself from that which it once relied upon. Oppression will be overcome. Do not cling to what has been. Sometimes the best way to heal from the past is to cut it off completely and focus on inner regeneration and reorientation toward a more fulfilling future. You shall know true love and freedom. See, like I said, it'll be there for you. Love will be there for you. Just right now, where you're at in your journey at this time, that's not the focus. You've got shit to do. You've got things to accomplish. Keep your eyes on the prize. Double eyes. Alright. So yeah, that's what I have for you. I hope this was helpful. Namaste. I love you guys, and I will see you later.